Hey there, Bob Fergus, Constant Gardener. Welcome to the OCG Fam Show to you, my YouTube buddies. What's going on? Let me know in the comments. We'll talk about the show right now. Let's just get into the show. Orchids. Nectar for the gods. More so known maybe for the devil's lettuce, but orchids perpetually bloom. It's amazing for orchids. And Scott, in this clip I'm going to show you, goes into how you grow the orchids with the nectar for the gods. So, I'd like you to watch it, and I'll talk to you after.
So you're those guys.
Yeah.
With the mason jars. Yeah. Yes, mayhem. Yes, mayhem. 7. Orchids are sensitive to salts, but love cocoa husks. And after a 2 to 3 day process, some boil the husk for at least 8 hours, then rinse it 3 to 4 times. Then, because it is said the husks bind up calcium, soak it in CalMag for another 8 hours, then rinse it again, then dry it.
Orchid people they like their orchids, and this person's not wrong.
Okay, so instead of doing all that, could you just use some SLF?
The SLF would definitely help with all of these pieces. The thing I don't like about the CalMag soaking is that you're putting the salts right back in calcium nitrate, magnesium nitrate, and the downfall of that is that, orchids are also kind of sensitive to high nitrogen levels and don't do well with nitrogen on.
Well, if I was going to do all this, why wouldn't I just give them the CalMag? Not that would work.
Because the salt of cocoa is a different salt. That's
okay,
an Na3 right from the ocean, so it's a hot salt. It's definitely not.
Okay.
It's what we wash off our cocoa. So like our cocoa fiber comes in at 20 parts per million because that's the water measurement. So we've washed all the sodium off. But yeah, if the SLF will work as a digestant, breaking that salt away and making it go away faster, and then literally soaking it in something like Demeter's or even Gaia for that matter, something just to rebuild that in there. And you're doing root soaks. I do a Herculean, Gaia, sometimes Chaos if I need a new spike or not. If I don't need a spike, I don't put the Chaos in, and a little Demeter's, and I do a weekly soak with that, and I can't stop them from blooming.
So if you got it in a little bucket to keep it in one place. You pull it out of the bucket. You stuff it into this.
I fill my sink up
with the liquid,
with my solution. So
okay.
I'm at give or take 3 to 5 mils of most of these things. I put them in there per gallon, and then I take all my pots.
Just in the pot. You don't pull it out of the pot.
Because I have sleeves.
Oh, okay.
Because they live in nets. Because they don't want to be in soil.
No.
They're breeding.
Yeah.
So I have these little net pots. I take them out and I stick them right in the solution and let them sit there for like 3 to 5 minutes.
Okay.
Then I put them up on a rack and let them drip dry, air dry.
Okay.
And then I put them back in their little containers back where they belong.
And this container is a decorative container.
It's a pretty little pot.
Okay.
And so, or I'll even get really lazy and sometimes, because they're all in pots with no holes.
Oh.
So they're a net pot in a container with no hole.
Okay,
So I'll take my feed solution, I'll just go and I'll flood everything. Then I go and I just pour all that solution back. When I get to the very end, I just go to the first one and I start draining them back into my container. And then I just go pour that out on my garden bed. And it's because they don't want to be soaked, they don't want to be suffocated, but they want all that nutrition like you're missing it on them. Ideally, foliar feeding their root zone all the time is ideal. I'm way too lazy to try to do that, and it's messy, and it's...
Well, and then you turn into a Bonneville, and you're out just like...
and I don't have a greenhouse. If I had a greenhouse, it'd be a different story, but this is my kitchen.
Yeah.
So it's just a soak and dry and go. But with the SLF, you could get rid of the heavy, long water soak or the boiling aspect. And really, it's testing that cocoa to begin with to see how salty it is, because if it's super salty, then flushing it first with just a Herculean soak or that SLF soak will definitely reduce the sodium faster.
Why wouldn't I just flush it out of course instead of measuring? Do I need to figure out?
It's hard to measure because they're talking about husk, so they're talking about chunks of cocoa fiber. They're not talking about a pith or a hair. They're like bark.
So it's like pieces of a coconut.
Well, because traditionally orchid bark is just tree bark.
Yeah.
That they chip up and then your roots just kind of go through, because orchids will live just on the side of a tree.
Yeah.
And through the moisture in the air is how they survive.
This is just some mechanical thing to hold them up so they can stand up straight.
But they love the cocoa husk because of the texture, the roots seem to it's just more gentle to the
This is
orchid.
like if I broke up a coconut shell and like those chunks, or is this
but you'd have to chunk them.
Yeah, but this isn't the coir that's all that. This is like the actual...
Yeah, it's
husk.
Yeah, you can shred that into a pit.
I gotcha.
Okay, what do you think of that? Informative, entertaining, helpful, agree, disagree, questions, comments? Do you grow orchids? Have you thought about growing orchids? What are your thoughts? Let's talk in the comments. I love you. I'll see you tomorrow. The OCG Fam Show. It's pretty good. It happens every day. It's the OCG Fam Show. See you tomorrow.